What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. As you can see, I'm not at my house again. We're doing the traveling. Oh, hold on. I'm getting some feedback from. Hold on. What? Hey, baby, could you not watch it? It's playing back in the car. You're on Bluetooth. Take it off. Sorry, guys. My husband, he's outside sitting watching me do the show. He was on Bluetooth. So I just heard my repeat of myself. So technical difficulties aside, hopefully the Wi-Fi stays strong for me or the cellular stays strong either way. But welcome in the beautiful, the sharp Kelly in Vegas. And obviously we have a guest here, Mr. Christopher Castellani. Did I say that right? I always want to add like
Castellani. You're close enough.
I always want to add like a double L and want to like roll it. I don't know why I do that.
It's not Spanish, Megan. It's Italian.
I've heard way worse pronunciations, so you're fine.
I'm sorry. One day I'll get it right. I'll just call you Christopher. Does your mom call you Christopher?
Yeah.
Do you like Chris or Christopher better?
I really don't have a preference. Most people call me Chris.
Okay, well, I'll call you Christopher because I'm a mom.
Very formal. I mean,
I like it, but he's so smart and so witty and so great. It's just like Christopher. Like I expect that from you. But anyway. I'm in my car. We're traveling, and I will be on a plane here, hopefully, if I make it through security after we get through this show. But first, we're going to talk some MLB, and we have a game starting in like 10 minutes. That is the Bo Sox and the Twins. You have Rich Hill on the mound. And Chris, I'm sure you already know this. Kelly, I'm not sure if you do since you don't follow baseball nearly as closely. But Rich Hill's father passed away last week, 94 years old, avid Boston Marathon runner. And guess what today is? The Boston Marathon. And Rich Hill is taking the bump. He had a great time outing last time he pitched, last time out. I did not want to eat the juice on this because as I figured it's going to be a very emotional day for Rich Hill. But I just want to put all the positive vibes out there for the Red Sox, for Rich Hill, and hopefully they can get one in for his dad. Chris, any thoughts on this game? Do you have a side that you would advise people to lean in here, or do you think this is just a stay away?
I would view it as a stay away because obviously you have the emotional element with Rich Hill, who, he pitched against the Tigers, thought he looked good. The hard part about betting on games in which he pitches is that he doesn't go that deep into games, even going back to when he was with the Dodgers. I mean, he's in his early 40s, and he's been pitching for a long time. I like the Twins lineup. I guess if there's one recommendation, take the over, because I think that I like the Twins lineup, and I really like the Red Sox lineup as well. Dylan Bundy had a really good outing his first time out with the Minnesota, but beyond that, he's been a disappointment for a majority of his career. Tough park to pitch in, so that would be my only recommendation, but for the most part, I would say stay away.
Yeah, Megan, I'm on the same page here as Chris. I was looking at that over this morning as well. I had the under yesterday, and let me tell you how well that went for me. Look, the Twins bullpens are going to give up some late runs. I do lean towards the Red Sox here. And now, while I'm not some big parlay person, we know I like those big plus money parlays. I think if you like Boston, you're looking for some action this morning, you parlay it with the over.
You know what? I don't mind that play at all. I think that's between Chris's view on the over and my love for the emotional start in Rich Hill. I like that, but I highly doubt that I'll have time to get it in because literally starts in 5 minutes. So yeah, there we go.
Is that just pause the show? You can just log in real quick, Barstool app, and get it done. Nobody's going to complain. This is a betting show. We expect to see live betting.
That's very true. If I didn't have like 40 things set up in like the right way to make this whole thing work right now, I definitely would. But if I even move my phone an inch one way or the other, it's going to fall and it's going to be just a travesty. Okay, up next we have Diamondbacks, Nats. You have Bumgarner and Gray on the mound. This is another game that has the potential of being postponed due to weather. But I'm going to go ahead and say I like the first 5 under. I think it's 4.5 in this game. Bum is just an absolute bulldog. He can go up there and he can keep these guys in line. I know that the Nationals do have a couple of bats that could absolutely blow this up in my face within the first 2 innings. However, I think with Bum on the mound, with Gray on the other side, this looks like a play towards the under. It's I'm hoping that we maybe have a little lull from the Easter celebrations yesterday, and we won't see as many won't see a high scoring affair here. At least if we do, let's have it after the fifth inning. I like the under 4.5 first 5 here. I'll go ahead and get your opinion, Chris, and then we'll kick it back to you, Kel.
Yeah, I think the under on the first 5 is fair. Bumgarner, at least thus far, going back to spring and in his start so far this year, has looked better than he has probably since he's put on a Diamondbacks uniform. I mean, the pitch data for him over the last several years was not great. But the biggest reason I take the under for the first 5 here is Arizona doesn't score runs. They've scored 21 runs in 9 games. I mean, that's next. I thought the Tigers were struggling. I mean, that's next level, like terrible. They haven't scored more than 3 runs since April 10th. The Nationals have a lot of hitters that I like. Juan Soto, I just love watching him.
He's great. He's great for baseball.
He's amazing. But what's bizarre about this is that Madison Bumgarner, who's been around forever, does not have a lot of experience against this lineup and not a lot of experience against guys like Soto and even Nelson Cruz. So I think the under on the first 5 is solid. Neither one of these bullpens is very good. So anything beyond that, I wouldn't take. But under for the first 5, I think is probably fair.
Kelly, what do you think? I know that you like the first 5s because you don't like to cap the bullpen. Do you think this is a sharp play, or do you think that I might be on the wrong side here?
I don't hate this. I'm not saying this is going to be a pitcher's duel, but both starting pitchers have been pretty solid so far. So I don't like the full game under. I can see why you guys like the first 5 under. I'm going to tell you this, though. I don't like Madison Bumgarner. I think it was 2015 when he got to pitch twice against the Royals. And by the way, Megan's like, oh, yeah, Kelly doesn't really follow baseball, blah, blah, blah. It's because baseball betting is the bane of my existence. I had a beautiful.
I'm not saying that you don't like it. I'm just saying that.
No, I actually hate it. I think I hate betting baseball more than anything else. And the next time I start a bonfire in my backyard, I'm going to burn my losing tickets that I found. I found a whole thing of receipts from my accountant, and I'm like, oh, see, if I just didn't bet baseball, look how much more money I'd have for my bankroll for football season. And that's because Madison Bumgarner really started that off really strongly for me. That was when the Giants came to Kansas City, game 7, and they pitched him for like 6 innings. It was absolutely horrific. And I still think I hate Mad Bum because of it. The guy blows snot rockets on the mound. I can't bet a guy like that. That's just disgusting. No, all jokes aside.
He's a bulldog. You got to love him.
All jokes aside, I'm with you guys. I'm not high on this Arizona team. Like Chris said, they don't score runs. How are you going to win a game if you don't score runs? You got to win it in a low-scoring game. So I'm with you guys. Lean towards the under full game, but first 5 just makes the most sense to me.
All right. That makes me happy as a person that has already placed their hard-earned dollars on the first 5 under. All right. Up next, you have Giants, Mets, you have Cobb, and you have McGill on the mound. This Mets team has been on fire. Mm-hmm. Their 1 through 9 is nasty. McGill has stepped in big for DeGrom. He had 10.1 scoreless frames. Like, he's just been absolutely nuts. And the Mets lineup has been nuts. This Giants team, they're good. Cobb is good. Giants were great last year. I do think, though, that this Mets team has just this certain fire under them right now. And I really think that McGill is going to continue to just tear it up on the mound. I like the Mets. I like them to get to Cobb. Chris, let me know what you think here. And also, I'm pretty sure you probably have a stat or two that would hopefully help my Mets argument.
Yes, I do, Megan. I have multiple. Now, the one that came to mind right away looking at the matchups today is Robinson Cano kills Alex Cobb. 1,200 career OPS, large sample size, too, against Cobb. Not a whole lot of other experience. Cobb's pitched, I think, his entire career up until this year. In the American League. The Mets bullpen scares me and will continue to. I don't imagine Cobb's going to be out there much, for a long time. Over the last, I think 3 seasons, he's averaged just over 5 innings a start. I think Gabe Kapler's going to try to shorten the game. Giants bullpen was excellent a year ago. But the Mets right now, I mean, we know how quickly this can change. The Mets right now are a very confident baseball team, it seems. And it seems like the Giants are too, coming off of what was, an amazing season for them a year ago in which they came out of nowhere and won the West. But I'd probably venture to think that the Mets come out on top here because I like you said, McGill's been a revelation out of nowhere. I don't know how that happened, replacing DeGrom, but his stuff looks better than it's ever looked. And I like that lineup. I mean, Steve Cohen, you got to give him credit, bolstered that lineup a ton. Lindor looks better than he did, substantially better than he did a year ago, probably as good as he's looked since he was with Cleveland back in 2019. So I'd lean Mets here, but I do worry about how Kapler's going to maneuver things with the bullpen. I don't think Alex Cobb's going to go very deep into this ballgame.
Kelly, you got any opinions for me?
Yeah, Megan, if you look at some of the trends here, right? San Francisco has gone under 6 of their last 8. The Mets have trended towards the under as well, but I don't know if I'm buying that. Do you guys remember the movie Moneyball?
Yes.
And when Brad Pitt, who I forget his name in real life, Billy Bean, thank you. Basically,
Billy
what did he
Bean.
say? How do you win games? You got to get on base first. And who has one of the best on-base percentages in baseball? That's right. It's the New York Mets. Mm-hmm. This under is juiced over at the Barstool Sportsbook, and I'm thinking it might look a little square to take the over, but I'm taking the over here, especially with what Chris just said. If they pull some pitchers early, we start to see the bullpen early. I think this one goes over 7.
Yeah, I think that total is a little suspicious. I'm not real sure why it's at that number, and it was at 6.5 whenever I was at Starbucks earlier. So I'm not sure what's happening there. Up next, Pirates Brewers. I don't have a play on this as a straight bet, but it is in my Making Money Mondays parlay, which is a parlay of the Brewers money line, Padres money line, and you guessed it, Astros money line. So just throwing that out there. That is plus, I believe, 263 over at the Barstool Sportsbook. Can you guys still hear me, or am I broken up?
No, you're good.
I assume that I'm broken up because I can't.
No, you're doing great.
Because I can't hear you guys.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you can't hear us. That makes it a problem.
Okay, perfect. So it's over at the Barstool Sportsbook. For if the parlay does not hit, for each leg that does, you get $10 back in bonus cash. But I really feel like this one is the winner today, you guys. So go ahead, go into the Barstool Sportsbook and get that in. Do you guys have a play on either of the Pirates or the Brewers?
It's tough for me. I lean towards Brewers simply because of the talent. I mean, I have a hard time, picking the Pirates to win anything, given the way the last 30 years have gone for them. So that's a little bit. I'm sorry. It's outside of those 3 years they've been in mess. I do think that the one difference is I think that at some point that Brewers rotation is really going to find its footing the way it did a season ago. I mean, Corbin Burns is great, but Woodruff has had a tough start or two. Peralta's had a tough start. I lean Brewers here, but this is actually, of all the games I was looking at, this is the toughest one because there's not a whole lot of data and past history with either one of these pitchers against those respective lineups. So lean Brewers just simply because I think they're a substantially better team than the Pirates, and I think they're probably the favorite to win that division. But this one's I'm a bit on the fence with this one.
I was on the fence as well, and I was going to take the White Sox on the reverse run line to add to the parlay, but since the weather might be postponed there too, I wanted to make sure to, get the parlay out so that the people can actually get one this Monday. They didn't have one last Monday due to weather, so wanted to make sure that I threw that one out there. Kelly, do you have any opinion on the Brewers Pirates?
I've been betting the Brewers a lot, actually, which is kind of weird. I mean, like I said, I get to follow some really sharp guys, so they send me their stuff. I kind of check it with what I'm trying to do here. And I had the Brewers yesterday. And my God, did I think I was going to lose that juice and all. I think I laid like 130. And that's kind of how I feel about this game. I think if you like the Pirates, because they won 4 of their last 5 games, you need to check the road schedule just a little bit better. I'm not sure I want to lay the juice with the Brewers again. If I did, it would probably be first 5 because I cannot trust that bullpen. I can't believe how bad I had to start that game.
Just go ahead. Keep them in a parlay over on the Barstool Sportsbook. Log in and you can get $10 back if that doesn't hit. So, boom. Just like that, I solved all the problems. All the world's problems. All right, up next, we have Rays Cubs. I do not have a personal play on this game. It is not in a parlay. It is not a straight bet of mine. Chris, would this be a game that you would play, or is this a game that you're passing on?
I would probably pass on it just because I am yet to get any sort of feel for the Cubs this year. I don't know if they're good or bad or mediocre. I can't decide because I think they had a pretty good offseason. But it's still a team that by all accounts should be in the midst of at least something of a rebuild. I mean, they traded every key piece of their core.
Everything,
that won the World Series in 2016. One of them is now with the Tigers and Javi Baez. So this is a team that I think will be much easier to bet on in the middle to later stages of the season when we figure out who they are. They've gotten off to a bit of a hot start. They played a really good first series against the Brewers, and the Rays are always an anomaly too. I mean, the Rays have a lineup that never scares you, and yet you wake up at the end of September and they've won 95 games. So this would probably be a game I would avoid right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this looks like a complete and utter trap, Chris.
Yeah.
Okay,
I've only watched a couple of Rays games this year, and they're atrocious on the road. And now you're going to lay 130 with them. It looks like the bookmakers are begging you to bet the Cubs, which I'm not going to do. And I'm also not going to lay the juice with the Rays.
I'm also completely unsure what's up with Kyle Hendricks, too. He was so good. He was so good for them for a long time. Last year had one of his weakest seasons, had a bad first start. I would have trouble betting on him at this point.
all right, so that is a team stay away. Let's go, guys. That's one game that we can just y'all can X off y'all's sheet for the day. Just don't even worry about it. It says us three guys right here. All right, up next you have Angels, Astros. You have Lorenzen. I'm sorry, I want to make sure I say that right because I butcher names constantly. And Luis Garcia on the bump. I like my Astros today just to get the win. As I said, I threw them in with the Making Money Mondays parlay. And just to let you guys know, over the last 3 years, if you were to bet every Astros game blind, you come out profitable. Yeah. So just, whatever, just throwing that out there for you guys who are like, you're only taking the Astros because they're your team, you're a homer, etc. No, I'm taking the Astros because they're a fantastic team, and I think that they're going to win today. And on that note, what do you think? I mean, obviously this is a divisional game. The Angels won it just as bad as the Astros do. There's no real narrative here. I think that the only person that really hits the shit out of Garcia is Ohtani. But what do you think, Chris?
I would feel a bit more split about this if not for the fact Mike Trout got hit in the hand yesterday. He's currently day-to-day. I'm not sure if he's going to be playing this evening. This is more of a feel thing, and I don't really have much evidence from a statistical standpoint to support this. But over the last half decade, I don't think there's been a team that's been better at playing angry than the Astros have. I think they do a great job of bouncing back after tough losses. And they just had a series against, I knew that would make you happy. They have a series against the Mariners, or they just had a series against the Mariners. They lost 2 out of 3, outscored 18-7. Did pitch a shutout. Verlander was brilliant.
And Brash was fantastic, by the way. Brash was a beast.
I like that team a lot. I think they're really good. But the other thing about the Astros, too, is that the offense has been a little bit cold lately. They have not scored more than 4 runs since April 8th when they scored 13. And the team they did that against was the team they're going up against tonight with the Los Angeles Angels. I don't have any faith in the Angels pitching staff. Michael Lorenzen was a reliever for several years. He's back in the rotation with LA. So even though Luis Garcia struggled a little bit against Los Angeles a year ago, I like the Astros offense. Even despite what they've lost over the last several seasons, that's still one of the best lineups in baseball.
Kelly, what are your thoughts?
I think the Astros are a little overpriced, but I agree with everything Chris said. You know what's weird? I just realized this is the Astros' first home game. They're finally at home. Yeah. That's nuts. That's probably built into the price as well. I'm not going to touch anything here. If I had to give you guys a lean, I would say I lean towards the over. Chris nailed it. The Angels have given up a ton of runs, especially late. Yeah. And I can't really say much for the Astros at home, but I would like to think their bats get a little bit hotter in Houston. Lean towards the over, but I'm not going to play it.
Well, let's hope that the bats get going in Minute Maid. Let's get the juice box rocking tonight. Hopefully they help me cash the parlay. But if they don't, hey, you get $10 back if they win. Or if they lose. I'm sorry, not to confuse you. Okay, up next, Phillies, Rockies. And I am taking the Rockies reverse run line. And why? The Rockies have started the season with hold on. I wrote down lots of little notes on this one. Okay. They have recorded 6 victories in their last 8. Nola can get hit by this team, definitely can get hit. They're also 4-0 in their last 4 as an underdog, 4-1 in their last 5 home games versus a right-handed starter, and 7-2 in NL East opponents. Not to mention you sprinkle in a good bullpen. I like the Rockies on the money line, but I'm going to go ahead. I can still lose the game by an entire run. I think there's some value here. I like the Rockies reverse run line. Chris, am I a silly goose for taking this pick?
No, there's conflicting reports here because I was looking at Aaron Nola's numbers against the Rockies and against this lineup. He's actually had good numbers against Colorado in his career. He's 4-0 with a 3.35 ERA. But what's bizarre is that the heart of that Rockies order, CJ Cron, Chris Bryant, Charlie Blackmon, 1040 OPS career and 35 at bats. And as good as Aaron Nola was in 2018, finished third for the Cy Young, he's a pitcher to me that this is kind of a make or break year for him. And it seems like he's trending a little bit downward over the last 2 years. He's got an 88 ERA plus, and he's going to be pitching tonight in what is the most, hitter home run friendly park in all of baseball in Colorado. In Colorado, it's weird because they're coming to Detroit next week. And early in the season, I thought, all right, that's a chance to win 2 out of 3, maybe even sweep. Their lineup is potent. I mean, they're returning back to where they were kind of in the early 2010s, which is a team that doesn't have any pitching that scares me. Chad Kuhl doesn't have a whole lot of experience against the Phillies lineup, though he's dominated Kyle Schwarber for whatever reason. So I'm split on this one, but I'm at a point with Aaron Nola now where it's like, you got to show me something. And so until then, I'm probably going to lean towards the Rockies because that offense has been hot. I think CJ Cron over the last 2 seasons, one of the more underappreciated free agent signings. They just gave him a little extension last year. I like that lineup. And as much as I like the Phillies lineup as well, there is something always about Colorado playing at home against a pitcher that's been struggling that gives the edge to them in this particular matchup.
Megan, I'll just jump in here. You're kind of frozen.
All right, I lost y'all
I'm with
again,
Chris here and you.
Okay.
I do lean towards the Rockies for a couple of different reasons. As you guys mentioned, Coors Field, one of the most hitter-friendly parks, sitting at 11.5. The total's just too high. These unders have been hitting because bookmakers are making you pay a premium to bet those overs, and rightfully so. Plus, Philadelphia's offense just is kind of on this roller coaster ride. Sure, they had a nice game against Miami, but other than that, they've only had 7 runs in 3 games. And this is a Colorado bullpen that I love. Why? Because they're one of the best in the league, 1.8 ERA. So I do think if Kuhl can limit some damage in the first few innings, the Rockies are going to be a good bet. Megan likes Rockies on the reverse run line. I kind of like Rockies on the run line plus 1.5 over at the Barstool Sportsbook. Current odds are plus 1.5, minus 108. I do think that this is going to be one of those 5-4 type games where it does stand to the total. The Rockies might be the one to come up on top. Not sure if they're going to be, and that is just because Philly can get their bats going, and as Chris said, this is the place to do it if they do. So I'm going to take the easy plus 1.5. We know that if this game goes to extra innings, I'm going to get screwed, but that's okay. I do like the Rockies here with you, Megan.
Okay, so on my end, I'm breaking up pretty bad.
Oh, there we go.
And now I'm muted. Sorry. I said we did lose Megan, but I think she'll be back here in a second. We'll keep some games going. Chris, I know the Tigers do not play today, which is what I would have asked you about. But is there anything else on the board that catches your eye?
I'm a bit split, and Megan was talking about it earlier, and she's back now. Was talking about the White Sox Guardians game. I'm really down on Dallas Keuchel right now. I would say if you're taking as good as that White Sox lineup is, if that game gets played, obviously, weather is permitting at this point. I would actually lean towards the Guardians there. I know his fastball velocity was down a little bit a year ago, but I still think Shane Bieber is a Cy Young caliber pitcher. I think a lot of that had to do with the injury. So I would probably go Guardians money line on that game. I'm going to pick the White Sox to win a lot of games this year. I think that's a 95 plus win World Series caliber team. But Keuchel was one of the worst pitchers in baseball last year, so I'd lean towards Bieber in that matchup probably.
Yeah, I've already got my Soxtober shirt on. I'm ready. I'm ready for the White Sox. We'll see if they can't make a little bit of a run. Last year, as soon as this shirt arrived, I believe they only won 1 game in the series. So that being said, Megan is back, and maybe this is a bad luck.
I'm back.
Maybe you guys should bet the Guardians today.
Maybe you should. And look, there's 3 more games, but I'm going to go ahead and skip the other 2 in case my Wi-Fi breaks out again, because I want to get to the last game on the card, because everyone and their moms are running to bet Clayton Kershaw after a perfect 7 innings with the Dodgers. I don't know about you two, but I've seen Clayton Kershaw pitch for a long time. I already know that he's perfectly capable of throwing a perfect 7 inning game, and he could do it again. But is he going to do it his next start out? The numbers say no. I don't think so. Not to mention, I know that this Dodgers team can mash, just smash City. However, the Braves are no slumps. Not to mention the little beef between Ozuna and Freddie Freeman. This game is going to be a fantastic game. I like the Braves plus the 1.5 on the reverse run line. I wouldn't say I'm fading Kershaw. I'm more fading everyone thinking that he's going to go out there and have the exact same performance as he did last week. I just don't see that happening. Maybe I'm a big fat dummy. I don't know. But Chris, do you think that is going to be replicated today?
I mean, he's not going to go 7 perfect innings, but I think more so with this matchup, the thing that I think probably has a lot of people betting Dodgers is I don't have a lot of trust in on the mound for the Braves. I mean, the Braves offense so far has graded out to be the unluckiest in baseball. There was a whole piece about it earlier this week. They're going to turn around. That's a team that, I predict them to win the National League again. That's one of the best teams in baseball. But you look at and I think that's kind of what scares a lot of people in this particular matchup. Has got, I think, opponents or lefties against him have an 800 OPS in his career, and you have a Dodgers lineup that has Freeman and Lux and Bellinger and Muncy.
But none of them have really seen besides Turner, correct?
Those guys, no, I'm saying just left-handed hitters.
Just for his lefties. Okay, got
it. In his career have not, have been pretty darn successful against him. Relatively small sample size. He hasn't been in the league for a long time. Obviously, like there is a part of me, because I went off about it on my show. I was so mad about Kershaw getting pulled after 7 innings. So there is a part of me that's like bad juju, and I love Kershaw. He's one of my all-time favorite pitchers that hopes the Braves put up like a 10 spot tonight, just like as baseball karma. I don't see that happening. I do think at some point in the next few weeks, the Braves are going to be a really hot team to bet on because I think that offense is going to wake up. Acuna's about to come back. Olsen's going to find his stroke. Like that is an insanely talented roster, but I'm still leaning towards the Dodgers here. They're pretty heavy favorites this evening. That team is just so deep and so talented. Even if Kershaw doesn't repeat the success that he had last time out, you still have a really good deep bullpen that they can go to early and probably be able to win this game. So at least for the money line, I would take them.
Okay. Well, for Kelly and I, as far as betting purposes, I know I would not take the Dodgers on that money line. I think minus 220. Kelly, would you be laying all that juice?
I don't know if that was for Chris or for me, Megan.
Yeah, I said Kelly.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I heard you. Minus 215 right now at the Barstool Sportsbook. No, I don't lay that juice, but my good friend Ralph put out a chart. If you guys check my timeline, I retweeted it the other day about money line favorites in baseball and run line favorites, right? We've seen over the last few years that these powerhouse teams have not only done that, but they've done better on the run line. And the reason is also because of the new rules. When you go to extra innings, you get a guy on second base, so it's easier to win by 2. Look, I don't love laying that kind of juice. I'm not going to lay that kind of juice. This is a Braves team I like. I really do. They play really good small ball. They're exciting to watch. I faded them last night because they haven't been great on the road, and we're dating that back to last season. But this one's really interesting. I saw a stat this morning that said that the Dodgers 21-11 to the under when they're between minus 150 to minus 250. And that got me looking. I think this game could easily end 5-4. And I hate everyone and everything because the total is 8. But this is probably just a stay away from me, Megan. But I do like this Braves team. I think that they're going to be a contender once again. And who doesn't love fading the big name pitchers that you're paying a premium for?
All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and skedaddle out of here because I have only heard about 40% of what the both of you have said, but the 40% that I did hear was fantastic information. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully, you wouldn't mind hopping on as a Monday regular during the MLB season.
I'd love to, yeah.
Usually this show's a little later in the day. Today we had to get an early start because, as I said, I'm traveling. But usually we're hitting this around 2 Eastern, so you can sleep in a little bit the next Monday we would roll around. And of course, Kelly, thank you for being here as always and putting up with all of me and my antics and my car shows and my alleyway shows and everything else. One day I'll get an office like you. All right, guys, have an awesome Monday. I love
If
you
you guys are
I'm
at
about to go
Coors
hop in a
Field,
plane.
make sure you guys buy Megan a beer. Her and her awesome husband are going to be there, and they deserve it. They deserve a little vacation. Have a great Monday, guys, and good luck this week. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, of course.